Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about tonight is going to make you laugh, cry, throw your hands up in the air a little bit most likely, and say, yeah, that figures. Because we're going to walk you through how a gun buyback in New Mexico was on the virtue signal parade, got pinched a little bit because they were breaking federal law in their gun control virtue signal desires, and then a Democratic attorney general decides to bail them out, and wait until you see why. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear from you guys on this one, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on if you have some support for liberty, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. All right, my brothers and sisters, so let me do a little backstory. We covered this in December, okay? So December was like the month of the buyback issues, right? We had the thing in Michigan where they were like, refueling the gun trade and gun world. And then you had one out of New Mexico. And this was, it doesn't even matter the group. The point was they were virtue signaling about how many guns that they destroyed and took off the streets. And they didn't destroy them properly, and they got pinched because they were bragging on Twitter. And then they took them to a high school, which are still legal firearms, breaking federal law. It's perfectly fine. Check this out. The updates here are gonna, oh man. So here's one of the images that they put up. Now these are still firearms by the definition of the ATF. Even the ATF said they're still firearms because they weren't destroyed properly, which goes to the point of the virtue signaling lefties don't even know what they're doing. But anyway, let's keep going. Gun buybacks legal in New Mexico, AG's staff says after Sheriff Ferrari raises questions. Sheriff Shane Ferrari still said he has questions about the events, and this came out today. Yeah, he should have questions about the events because they're still illegal. They're taking firearms on school grounds and letting the kids make art with them. The virtue signal backfire on this is like a level 10. I mean, it is hardcore. But don't worry, because they get out of it because they had good intentions. And one key little detail, check this out. The leader of a New Mexico nonprofit organization that has presented dozens of gun buyback events throughout the state says she feels vindicated by a recent legal opinion from the Attorney General's staff maintaining such programs are legal under state law, despite an assertion by a sheriff that said they are not, yet they clearly are not. But anyway, listen to this. We're getting to the point why they say it's okay, and that's the whole point of this. On January 9th, Chief Deputy Attorney General James Grayson explained in a letter to San Juan County District Attorney Rick Tedrow, copied to Ferrari, that gun buybacks events conducted by nonprofit organizations in partnership with law enforcement agencies do not violate a provision of a 2019 state law requiring that a federal instant background check be conducted prior to the sale of a firearm, except in certain circumstances. That's the whole point. They passed these laws that say universal background checks, because that's what happens in New Mexico where this occurs. And the whole point that they always tell you on the left is anytime that you transfer a gun from a person to a person, that needs a background check, because who knows what that person's done that's got them. That includes things like grandfathers to grandsons, fathers to sons, fathers to daughters. We don't discriminate here. Mothers to daughters, mothers to hubbies. You never know. But the whole point here is they pass these universal background checks, and they say these types of transfers are illegal. Well, the only problem is this gun buyback was going door to door, grabbing completed guns and then taking them somewhere to get them destroyed. Now, in that intermediate time frame, that's a crime according to New Mexico. But the Attorney General's staff has said it's okay, it was only temporary. It's perfectly fine. Listen to this, because this is how you get around this if you're in New Mexico. Check this out. Grayson wrote that even though a law enforcement officer provides a surrendered firearm to a nonprofit worker for destruction after making sure it has not been reported as stolen during such events, that transfer is not regarded as a sale because the nonprofit worker does not provide anything of value to the law enforcement officer in exchange for the weapon. So because the nonprofit worker doesn't give the cop any money, so basically it's a one-way transaction, they're counting this as a gift, and therefore it's perfectly fine to not destroy it properly and then take it onto school grounds. That's what they're saying is not a crime. You guys can't make this up. And I can't wait to get on this with Tim on Second Legacy tomorrow morning, because we've been covering this a lot, and this is one of his sore spots. But anyway, listen to some more details from the letter. Excerpts from the letter, of course. The gun buyback involves two separate transfers of possession, neither of which requires a federal instant background check under the law or the statute. He wrote, Quote, the law enforcement agency, in effect, functions as an intermediary in a manner that does not trigger the background check requirement. So as long as you're on the way to give it to somebody else, like let's say party A, dad, gives gun to party B, son. Well, if party B's son is going to give it to party C, grandpa, that means it's not a transfer? Is that what that means now? Because if no money was exchanged, it's just a gift. Isn't that interesting? It's amazing how the nuance comes out when gun-controlling virtue signaling groups get pinched on breaking federal gun laws. But do you think that exact same forgiveness would be given on someone like, I don't know, on the gun rights side of the argument? It's worth exploring. I look forward to your comments in the field below. But one more thing for you, because this right here is what is so funny about the entire thing. Ferrari maintains that according to photographs he has seen, many of them are not being properly destroyed, and he said the ATF officials share his concerns. Even though they're cut in half, they're still considered firearms, he said, because they're not following ATF protocol to destroy these firearms, but their virtue signal to take a picture and say, look how much good we did, violates federal law. State law, but it is not in compliance with federal law of destruction of firearms. Then they take it to schools and they say we're the monsters. Guys, you can't make this up. And this was only Sunday night. I can't wait to start the week with you guys tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.